sweet soul. Today I wanted to answer a question, one that I've been asked before and one that I think many of us are currently beginning to ask ourselves as we realize this innate need within us to discover an alternative lifestyle to the modern hustle culture that many of us have been pushed toward by society, saturated in hyper-stimulation, distractions, and overconsumption. Many of us are asking, is a lifestyle of minimalism and mindfulness possible for anyone? Is it possible that absolutely anyone could adopt this lifestyle? Over recent years, the topic of minimalism and tiny living has become very popular. From the construction of tiny houses to living out of a van to selling everything that you own, it seems that the world has become fascinated by this question. Is the rat race style of life that we have been presented with all there is? Or is there an alternative and more liberating path? Over the past few years, I've learned so much as a practitioner of minimalism and mindfulness that I would like to humbly add my voice to the many answers to this question. Yes, it is achievable. Yes, there is so much beyond what we have been offered by the world. There is so much within us. In a lot of cultures, much value is placed on things like money, possessions, achievement, and power. Social media and the internet perpetuate this message of consumption and boasting, consuming for the sake of being seen or liked by others. And yet, it seems that the more we feed into this mindset, the less fulfilled we feel, the more unhappy we are. I firmly believe that there is a better, more vitalizing way to live because I have experienced it. Minimalism and mindfulness have allowed me to realize that I do not need to hang on to things that are not serving me. I do not need to follow a path simply because many others have done so. I am able to draw back, to center within my own spirit, and choose my own road less traveled mindfully. I was raised in the rural mountains of Vermont by artists, and growing up so closely connected to nature has also fostered so many of my current beliefs. In a world that is saturated by noise and this constant craving for more material possessions, with a fixation on productivity and achievements, many of us long for a more nourishing path, a path of health and well-being, stillness and peace. The good news is that this is available to us right now. We can choose. We can direct our thoughts and decisions. In fact, we must, or someone else will. The world is filled with massive corporations and booming monopolies that want to choose for you, that actually pay to have space in your feed, literally funding your distractions. We are either actively choosing our paths with mindfulness, or we are allowing commerce to direct us. I have created many videos expounding on how I use the internet and social media, but I'll quickly share the most important points here. I use social media to share my work and to create a loving, nourishing community around it, but I never browse a feed. I do not use social media on any personal level, and I use third-party apps in order to avoid visiting these sites altogether. I also live without a phone to eliminate the distractions of apps, notifications, news, advertisements, etc. I use it only for traveling. I have a whole video about this, and I highly recommend checking it out for a more in-depth look at how I do this exactly. Over the past few years, I've let go of many of the material possessions I have owned. I live a minimal and also nomadic lifestyle, so it has really aided me in my life to only own a few clothes and have few possessions. I donated most of what I owned, including 98% of my clothing, and I also practice low furniture living and find that I really have grown to appreciate the space and freedom of movement it has afforded me. Now, I want to clarify, the goal of minimalism is not to simply own as little as possible. In fact, I think if minimalism becomes a competitive ideal in our minds, something we're continuously trying to beat our personal best with by ridding ourselves of more and more things, we actually dilute the benefits we could be reaping from the practice. Minimalism to me is about being as honest as possible with ourselves about what we own and why, and what our relationship with possessions is and why. When we become overly attached to our possessions, it becomes easier and easier for us to allow those material objects to become our identity. Whether it's a certain brand of clothing we wear, a type of car we drive, or an electronic device we use, it is often encouraged by society, online culture, and social media that we use these objects as identity. We use material things to get ahead and to measure our various concepts of success. But it is these very concepts and attachments that keep us trapped inside of this vicious cycle of consumerism and continues to fund the very system we innately feel we need to escape from. What is success? It is subjective. And am I here on earth to simply consume and achieve and produce? We are human beings, not human doings. Practices like meditation, yoga nidra, martial arts, and forest bathing act as powerful mediums to remind me of the fact that there is a whole realm beyond hustling, rushing, producing, and becoming someone else's version of a successful human being. These deeply spiritual practices have helped me to see that wellness, peace, and inner joy are far more important than we could possibly imagine. The question is not and never has been, are you successful or unsuccessful? The question is, are you at peace or not at peace? Are you whole? Are you fulfilled? I believe that no matter who we are or where we live, we can use practices like these to live more mindful, whole, and healthy lives. Things like letting go of that which no longer serves us, inviting things into our lives mindfully rather than consuming mindlessly and shopping frequently, buying local and small, living a more plant-based lifestyle, disconnecting from social media on a personal level and finding more mindful ways to use them for our jobs and careers, meditating or practicing a martial art. All of these practices are so incredibly powerful. I look back at my life a few years ago and I do not even recognize myself sometimes. I have grown and changed so much and in a very healthy direction. I am joyful within and I am opening myself to peace each day. As I like to say, there's nothing wrong with possessions or devices, the internet or social media. There's nothing wrong with buying something that you would like to have. There's nothing good or bad about these things. They are neutral. Just as a hammer can be used to build a home or break a window, that very same principle applies to everything else in our lives as well. It's about how we are using it. Do our possessions own us, or do we own them? This video is not to encourage you to give away everything you own or to leave the internet behind forever. It is simply a loving, joyful reminder that if you are feeling weary, burnt out, and like there has to be something more to life than what society has offered us, you are not alone. This is an invitation to take stock, to reassess, and to repossess your own life. We don't have to do everything all at once. It simply starts with one step, one choice, and that is how it continues. One mindful choice after the next, becoming a lifestyle. I plan on making a lot more videos about this in the near future because I believe in the very core of my being that this is an important message, one that many of us need. My hope and prayer is that it reaches you and can perhaps even liberate and empower you to make more mindful, positive changes in your own unique journey. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, vibrant soul, so please feel more than welcome to comment below and share your thoughts and vibrations on this topic. I would love to hear about your own unique journey. If you enjoyed this video, I humbly invite you to like it and subscribe to my channel as it helps these videos to journey much farther and inspire more. Also, check out my website and sign up for email so you don't miss the release of my upcoming ebook about minimalism, mindfulness, and plant-based living in the Vermont mountains. I'd love to have you be part of this journey. Thank you so much for watching, sweet soul. I wish you so much joy in your journey. Namaste.